Good evening and welcome to Knowledge Community Chennai 52nd edition. Okay, I can see many new faces, so I'll just tell a brief about Knowledge Community. So this is Knowledge Community Chennai, and we started in 2008 September. So this is the 52nd edition of Knowledge Community. And what brings together us all for this community is the passion for sharing knowledge and learning new stuff. So we invite people from all walks of life. And Ravi sir is coming for a second time. Thank you, sir, for accepting an invitation.
Just call me Ravi.
Yeah, he always tells that he shall not call sir. So, and I think we've had a lot of interesting speakers around for the past 5-6 years now. And we meet every third Wednesday of a month, typically. Every month you will see some different topics, people coming and sharing experiences. We've had people talking about yoga, science, our history, and so on. Yeah, we have a lot of about naturopathy and so on. We have a lot of speakers. Last year, Ravi came here and he addressed the other set of audience, the students, and the topic was how to think. Using a simple pendulum metaphor, he taught us how we should think. But he went back, took us to our school days, where he showed us how we were forced not to think even in the labs also. We were forced, the experiments were forcefully done through instructions by teachers. So it's a nice metaphor, sir. We all enjoyed that session. Suppose that we asked, sir, so do you have anything for parents? He said, yes, that's what I'm going to speak now. So he wanted to know, he told that I'll share experiences on how parents can, mentor and enable their children and students to learn better and complement what teachers do in the school. So thank you, Ravi, for accepting, and over to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming over. As is the practice these days, I'm going to put up a PowerPoint, which you need to ignore. Okay. You just ignore PowerPoint. PowerPoint has great distractions. I hate PowerPoints. I hope Microsoft will not sue me for saying this because I'm using it as well. I don't know how to use this. Yeah, slide something. Yeah. Yeah. So the topic for the day is I'm going to talk about how can parents empower student learning. And let me start with the customary advertisement. Say no to PowerPoint. And as a warning, PowerPoint is injurious to mental health. It stops you from thinking. So, and I invite you to read this. I read an article recently. Last 3-4 days ago, a student sent me this article. The article is titled "PowerPoint is Evil" by Edward Tufte. It's a great article. You must go Google and find out.
So is there a PPT about it?
Yeah. Maybe yeah. Somebody could talk about how not to use PowerPoint. So you can talk. Maybe some of you can choose a topic on how not to use the PowerPoint. Some PowerPoint sometimes put us to sleep. So please ignore the PowerPoint and you pay attention to what I got to tell you. Okay. Anyways, I also should tell you what made me choose this topic. Last time when I gave the talk here on pendulum, somehow this topic struck me. I thought I should talk to parents about learning. Hello, sir. I want to talk about learning, and let me tell you what made me choose this topic. Number one, I've been teaching for a fairly long time. I started teaching 1991. 1991 that was the year I had my first student. I was in 12th standard. This guy was in 10th standard, so 1991. 25 years. I don't want to claim credit for it because sometimes I get the feeling with teachers, if you teach for 25 years, it probably means you do the same thing 25 years. So you probably don't do anything new, so it's not a credit. And I also read a quote recently, said, what can you say about a teacher who has taught for 25 years? Someone who has lived through an era of failed revolutions. So that was a pretty strong comment. So anyway, I thought I should share my experiences with parents. And how they helped me to become a better teacher. So that's one thing. And then I also believe that parents play a very powerful role in towards student learning. They can probably do what I cannot do as a teacher. Over the years, I have strongly come to believe that parents can do more than what I do as a subject specialist in quotes. So I thought I should talk to parents. And when I thought about this topic, I was telling this to one of my friends, and her immediate reaction was, Ravi, are you serious? I said, yeah, I want to talk about this topic, about parents empowering students, their kids. And she said, Ravi, how can you do this? I said, what's wrong in it? She said, you're yourself not a parent. You're not married, no kids. How can you talk about the topic? Well, yeah, it's true that I'm not married, that's true. But I also corrected a student of my friend telling that, how do you know that I don't have kids? Maybe I have a kid hidden somewhere in the globe, right? Anyway, that was on a lighter note. On a serious note, I think I got something to tell you. Things I learned from parents, which I thought I should share with other parents. And I hope the session will that way be useful. And I said, I want you to participate in today's discussion. I don't want to talk all the time. I'm sure I got to learn a lot from you. So what is today's topic, today's discussion all about? Basically, I'm going to tell you some stories. It's time for storytelling. Stories about whom? About people I have met, very interesting people I have met with. And you can see in the stories people who have who in some ways may be like you. And it's about parents, about teachers, and in short, it's about us. So it's you can see shades of yourself in many of the stories I'm going to share with you. Anyway, I'm going to tell you some stories, and none of the stories are made up. There are real instances, real incidents, real people. So, none of the characters are fictitious. I not made up any character. It's all what I've experienced. I met with those people. Any resemblance may not be coincidental. Maybe I'm sharing with you what I have heard from you. It's quite possible. Of course, one thing I won't do is I will not reveal the name. And, so that is not necessary. I don't need to tell who told what. But anyway, that's something to note for. What you may not expect. Well, some of you know me as a trainer for some exams. So please don't expect me to talk about how to get your daughter or son into IIT, NIT. I shouldn't say IIT, right? Because IIT people get to hear this, they won't give a chance for me to talk next time, right? Huh? Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to talk about that. That may be a topic some other day, but I don't want to talk about that. How to get into good medical college, how to do well in exams. My daughter's getting 99.5, how to make it 99.6. No, please, I don't want to talk about that. But let's say you want to know how to get into IIT, well, all you have to do is catch the city bus or take an auto and you will be there into IIT or any other university you like. Well, I'm not going to talk about all that. I got something more profound, something which I think is more deep, and that's learning. So my topic is going to be learning. What you may expect is, I'm going to talk about learning, and I believe, learning has two components, at least two components. That's what I think. One is the intellectual part, other is the emotional aspect. But I'm going to stick to mostly the intellectual part. I'm not competent to talk about emotional aspect, though I also think whether there's a clear line dividing these two. I don't think so. I think there's a very fuzzy boundary between these two. But anyway, to the extent possible, we shall not encourage into emotional side of learning. Do not expect, okay, after now 90 minutes of today's discussion, I don't want you to expect some 2-minute formula. I'm going to implement it with my son or daughter straight away. It doesn't work like that. Your experience with kids, you tell them something, first time it doesn't work, second time it doesn't work, probably never work. I expect students, I teach once, they don't get it, second time they don't get it. Of course, the fault is with me because I don't communicate properly. So basically, I'm here to raise a few issues and share a few thoughts, and more importantly, to learn from you. So, and I do not know of any N commandments. Don't expect N commandments, nothing of that kind. So we are here to share thoughts, and one thing is we have a common concern. When I'm a teacher, I teach some of your kids, so other kids. What you say will be very valuable it will help me to do my job better as a teacher. I still believe every year, end of every year, when I look back, I think that I realize I got a lot more to do. My goal last year, if I was telling my friend again, my goal was not to leave any student behind, to reach every student. And I want student to participate, and my goal was to hear every student's voice at least once in class. I must have heard every student's voice at least once in class. Let me be honest, it never happened. So it's a failure for the nth time. So it didn't happen. So I know it's a very difficult task to hear. I don't hear some people's voice through the year, not even once. Not even once. Would you believe it? There are people in my class who come, they join, sit in my class through one full year. I haven't heard them talk to me. That's really bad on my part. I need to improve a lot. To begin with, this question struck me yesterday. I thought, okay, I'm going to talk about this topic, learning. Then I thought, okay, what is this learning? So I want to talk to each other. I want you to talk to each other and tell me what in your view is learning. Talk to each other. Take 2 minutes time. Talk to each other and let me know what do you think learning is. I'm going to talk about learning. You must be able to define learning. Talk to each other, please. I want you to talk to each other. Please consider some thoughts. Talk to each other. Have you considered some ideas? Finished. The future parents have done. The parents are still discussing because they know the real difficulty in this, right? Yeah, I think we can start pulling in some thoughts. Yeah, anybody who can tell me what your view of learning? Yeah, please. One at a time. Yeah, sorry, please. I didn't get you fully.
It's basically getting knowledge about a subject.
Getting knowledge about a subject. Okay. We'll do this. If you have a response or you want to share some thought, please raise your hands. And I would like to hear everybody's voice at least once in 90 minutes. It's not going to happen. I tried with my students. It didn't happen in one full year. Let's see. Yeah.
I think it's just about getting an idea and processing the idea.
Getting an idea and processing the idea. Okay, sir.
I learned it in some different way.
Huh?
Okay. So, the first primary thing for learning is the presence of a teacher and his readiness. Second is the readiness of the student to receive the information. Then the third one is the subject itself. And then, after we learn how we repeatedly get it into our assimilate it and understand. Okay. So this comes in Sikshavali. Acharya Purva Rupam, Anteva Suttara Rupam, Vidya Santi and Pravachanam. So that's how it's been said as Vidya. Okay. I'm just relating to your question.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah, here's a student. Let me see.
Basically, it's gaining knowledge and using or implementing whatever you learn.
Using what you learned in day-to-day life. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Please be seated. Not only getting knowledge, to read, to absorb, to think, and apply what you learn, or the whole process is
Absorb, think, absorb, and then apply what you learn.
yeah. Assimilating information to a point where you can draw your own conclusions.
Assimilating information so that you can draw your own conclusions. Okay. Anybody else?
Is knowing what you want and doing what you know.
Knowing what you want and doing what you know. Yeah, wonderful. It's great to hear such responses. Anybody else? Yeah, please.
Vijay seems to have an interesting interpretation.
Vijay. Yeah, please, sir. Please.
Well, I think I've looked at myself a lot, and I feel that learning is a movement away from knowledge. A lot of people think learning is assimilation of knowledge. That's okay because that's what most of the education is all about. It gives you a certain course structure, it expects you to memorize certain things and stuff like that. But that's not real learning. Learning begins with inquiry, questioning, doubting, negation, and it needs understanding and instinct. That is real learning. It's a complete movement away from knowledge. That's real learning. In fact, at the very highest level, learning is non-accumulative. There is no memory at all. It's completely spiritual. That's the highest learning. But the normal learning that we associate with is assimilation of knowledge. That helps only so far. It doesn't take you very long.
So then I have a question for you. According to you, what's happening in schools and colleges, would you call as learning?
Just assimilation of knowledge. That helps you to get a job, that's all. There's nothing further than that.
What more do you want? I mean, you have a job.
It won't help to discover something.
No, my question, a question could be, what more do you want? You have a job, you have a salary, or everything goes on. What more do you want?
If you really understand real learning, you won't even ask this question. You know what you want further than a job or whatever.
That's wonderful. So that's taking learning to a completely different level. So it's great to hear such questions. So what I thought was, what was the first thing we do as students when there's a question? Yeah, you got
a job. Then your learning stops at some time. But my learning, no, I am not going for a job. They are always trying to learn.
Lifelong learner.
Not related to.
Not related to what? Job. Okay. Wonderful. So I had the same question. Then I wanted an answer. And what is it I would have done yesterday? Guess. Whenever there's a project in school, what do you guys do? Wikipedia. Google. So I went to Google Guru. I didn't think. I mean, first I should have thought myself, hey, what is it? What is my take on this? First thing I said, type, what is learning? So I read the definition. I'm going to share this with you. It says, some of the articles, relatively lasting change in behavior that is a result of some experience, blah, 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 blah. So my understanding what learning is very much what some of you suggested, that you must be able to apply, use it somewhere. If you don't use it, I don't think it's worth the time doing anything. So in fact, sometimes I wonder whether what we do in schools and colleges is really learning. I do not know, because we prepare for exams, but is it real learning? I do not know. I'm not too sure about that. And we always study and prepare for exam. Is learning going on? I am not too sure, because it has to be a part of you. But, I mean, as she says, it has to be, completely, it should be a part of you, the learning, and you'll be a lifelong learner. And I don't know whether exams really result in learning. I'm not too sure. I have my own doubts on it. Because when I mentioned experience, I thought, okay, let's say I asked my mom a particular dish. I don't see okay, I'm going to prepare, let me recall what I did years ago, let me revise and then do the dish. She just does it. Number one, she likes doing it, and she does it because of experience. And she's able to, somebody said, what did you say? Use it, apply it. A lot of things go on. And nobody prepares. If you prepare for something, I don't know if it's real learning. I'm not too sure. But anyway, I like many of your responses. Well, let me move on. So let's see. Yeah, my first question for you is, when I meet with parents, I'm a physics teacher, the so-called subject specialist. People look at me as one subject specialist. Specialist, I think, is probably who knows one thing and nothing of anything else. I don't know. Even in physics, I don't know if I'm really a specialist. But anyway, people consider me as a specialist and come to me and say, I want my son or daughter to be a student. Then they also say, see, I'm having a commerce background. I'm having a biology background. I can't teach my daughter or son math and physics. This is what they say, and then say, you are the specialist, I leave my daughter to you, I leave my son to you. Now, I want your thoughts on this. If parents tell me this, now I want to talk to each other. I want you to talk to each other and say, and make a comments on it. Come on, talk to each other, please. Please talk to each other, and I'll get back to you. I like to have new voices. Please talk to each other. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? You might have said the same thing to some teacher. That's okay. You may talk in favor of it. You may say it could be phrased differently. You may say talk for it. You may say something not in favor of it. Okay, I think I'll take your responses. If you need more time, also let me know. Sometimes I get the feeling I may keep the time too short. Who would like to take a shot? Yeah.
I think that parents don't have to teach or support the students when it comes to subjects at home.
Just a minute, sir. Just a minute, sir. Yeah. Sorry, I don't think we got you. Please.
I don't think parents need to know anything about the subject or teach subject-specific things to their children at home. The only thing that I expect that of my parents and I think parents should do is to create a learning-friendly environment in the house, and that is enough. Kids don't have to learn for 8 hours at school and again come back and sit with their parents for like again 2 hours at home. I think that's simply a torture for the children.
Simply a
Torture.
torture. Oh my gosh. Wonderful. Yeah, continue, please.
I am a person who thinks that there should be at least one PT period, even in 12th standard, even in college, even as parents. We don't become old. We don't stop playing because we become old. We become old because we stop playing. So I think learning at home and all is simply too much.
Yeah, you got to say something? Yes, sir. This young gentleman wants to say something.
I actually completely reinforce what she says, because my father, he may not know a damn about my subject, but he is a critic. Whatever I say or whatever I try to say, he'll start dissecting it, reconstructing it, and then he'll make me question my own opinion.
I can see that genes are there in you too, because you've been in my class and you do the same thing.
But I don't torture you, sir.
Huh?
I don't torture you.
I should say that. I should be the one saying that, not you. Well, yeah, anybody else?
Really, the parents, what they have to do is, they have to give a moral support, even if they are not, and they're not able to teach anything physics or maths, if they are some other field. They should support them in all aspects. As she says, we give a clear and good environment in the house and give them a very good moral support to guide the students.
I have a question. I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah.
You said environment. Suggest one thing you could do as a parent.
Yeah, see, if my son wants to study in a separate room, he doesn't want to hear the TV sound, he doesn't want the other sibling to play around, I'll make it clear that he gets that.
You'll get a separate room for him.
Yeah.
But what about parents who cannot afford that?
Yeah, then you at least take him to near a friend's house or take him to a place where there is a calm environment to accompany him.
So you provide the environment for him to pursue what he wants to. That's wonderful. I'm going to give preference to some people who have not interacted yet. Yeah, please.
I feel that we need not be a subject matter expert or a specialist, but surely talk to the child about what, but at least try to understand how many lessons or how many chapters has he got, what is it that he has done, is there anything that we can help him sort out, or try to tell him that probably the easy ones could be done a little later, but if you think it's difficult, you could focus more on that and see how many marks are associated with that. Help them at least that way, or guide them. For that, I don't think we need to be a subject matter specialist or an expert.
Okay, that's wonderful. But anyway, please do send them to subject specialists, because otherwise I'll be out of business. So sometimes I wonder, so many of the talks I give, whether they prove counterproductive. So this is only for talk, only for presentations and PowerPoint presentation talks. You should not implement them. You just hear and forget, that's all. And please continue to send them for classes, so that we don't go out of business. I'm sorry, I'll just,
I think it depends on the student also, to some extent. An environment is important, but as you know, my sister is in 12th, so my parents' approach to me and my sister are completely different. They were totally not involved in how I studied. But for my sister, even though they don't know what she studied, they know how many chapters she has, how much she has finished, because she needs that motivation and she needs that. So I think it depends from student to student.
Yeah, as I told you, there is no simple solution. You have to keep trying number of approaches. You got to say something? Yeah.
What I'd like to say, what we discussed was, with respect to what field your parent belongs to, there's something called experience that they have, which is much much larger than what you have. So, and there are some basic thoughts that are applicable to all fields.
Okay.
And their experience in their field is a few basic things in their field is transferable to any field.
Example, give me an example. Let's say you are a commerce graduate. Let me put hold on. Let me phrase my question. You are a commerce graduate. You don't know anything in physics. 11th and 12th standard physics, you do not know.
Yeah,
Tell me what you'll do.
Yeah, like real life example, my father is a commerce person. So, yeah, so he works in stock markets and stuff like that. So what he does is he does some sort of analysis and things like that, which is very much applicable to physics. Though I don't know anything about stock markets. I mean, stuff like analysis and things like that is transferable to like any field that you work.
Yeah, what's the word you use? Could you repeat the word? Transferable. I like that word. I always tell people when I teach physics, so I tell them, I don't care a damn you don't learn physics from me or physics with me. You may do something else tomorrow. You may become biotechnology. You can be in literature. You can write books. You can be an author of some book. You can do something. But you got to be creative. And I'm looking at the transfer of knowledge, not the content. The facts of biology or physics. I mean, you can always refer to a book. And this day, just Google, you get everything. It's these days, I don't know whether information is really worth storing in our heads. I don't think so. I personally feel those are gone and dead. Trying to store something. That's it. At least I was told to do that when I was in school. You put everything in your head, and you are more knowledgeable. I don't think it works anymore. Yeah. So let me tell you my experience. My parents are nowhere related to physics. I'm doing physics. I think they just allowed me to pursue what I want to do. That was wonderful. And if you go by the logic that, for your son to become a physicist, you should know physics. Then if you extend the logic, then Einstein's parents must have been physicists. Newton's mom and dad must have been physicists. Then the cycle goes on. Their grandparents must be physicists. It's not like that.
So how did you learn?
Me? How did I learn physics? Oh, that's an interesting question. Did I learn is a question. Number one, yeah, my parents just gave me the freedom, and I just wanted to learn. I found physics interesting, and I also found a very good teacher. He pointed out, I don't think you always need a teacher to learn, but luckily I had a teacher, so things worked for me, and I was basically curious. I am still curious. I want to learn, so that eagerness, I think, that made me learn physics.
Your question. Yeah. This is something which you have already told us in class. For learning, you said that you must have a completely free environment with not any kind of pressure. I feel that my parents don't give me any type of pressure. They don't ask me about marks or anything. They just leave me to my own devices. They say learn how you do, but make sure you do it.
Okay, so they give you a lot of freedom. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, so that's one thing I wanted to share with you. So what I gather, you don't need to be a subject specialist. You can, in your own field, you can analyze, you can think, you can tell your son or daughter to learn how to think and find on their own. After a long term, see, my goal as a teacher is how to make them independent learners.
Interest in the people, open the doors, ask them to see the sun, to see how the plant goes, then automatically they.
So make them inquisitive, allow them to ask questions. No books are not needed. Yeah.
So don't forget this way, sir.
Please, sir.
Learning, all these things went from the one basic.
Yeah.
Learning, as an aphorism, learning is not subject specific.
Wonderful. Learning is not subject specific. I think that's very true.
Learning is a process where even if, let alone if a teacher and student, learning is a deeper thing in this life. You come across many things which happen to you. With your basic knowledge, you are building up your method of contacting them and handling them. That is the process of learning. Which to take, and there the parent comes and helps with the sector in learning physics. The way you are the process of imbibing something and taking it and internalizing something, that is something which is not specific to physics or chemical or something. So what is common? The process is something which the parent or anybody else, any elder, any experienced person is doing.
Yeah, I think to put it in a very short statement, I think you learn from experience. That's wonderful. Oh, facilitators. Wow, very good. Well, I have this, I read this book long back. It's a nice book. It's called The Dim and Haunted World. It's called A Dim and Haunted World by Carl Sagan. He's a science writer. I'm going to read this passage and bore you down, but it's a great passage. I don't want to spoil it by phrasing it in my own words. I don't want to spoil that. It's beautifully written. My parents weren't scientists. He says, my parents weren't scientists. They knew nothing about science. But in introducing me to skepticism and wonder, as my friend here pointed out, they taught me two uneasily cohabiting modes of thought, central to scientific method. Somebody pointed scientific method. They were only one step out of poverty, no facilities. But when I announced that I wanted to be an astronomer, I received unqualified support, even if they had only the most rudimentary idea what an astronomer does. They never suggested that, all things considered, it might be better to be a doctor or a lawyer. But pretty much what you said, pretty much. It's a great book. You must read this book, The Dim and Haunted World by Carl Sagan. It's a great book. It's for parents, for teachers. I wish every school prescribed this as a textbook, without exams though. Without exams. You know. Exams are spoilers. The moment you put an exam, nobody wants to read the book. Yeah, it's boring.
I read the first 10 pages of your guidebook.
Oh, yeah.
Then I stopped.
Question. My friend here said, allow them to explore, ask questions and all that. Suppose your kid has a question for which you have no answer. What do you do? Talk to each other. No, don't do that. Don't do do that. That's the worst thing. No, that's the last thing you should do. I may not have the answer. Yeah, talk to each other, please. The question your kid poses to you, you don't have the answer. What will you do? I see the parents discussing more intensely because they know the seriousness of the task. Okay. Yeah. Who can start? I want some new voice again, Raga. Hold on. I want some new voices. Yeah, my friend here. Admit you do not know the answer. Next. But the kid wants an answer. If I say don't know, what next? Okay, you want to take them to a library. Okay. Books. Why don't you raise a hand and then? Yeah, Prakriti.
Allow them to do research. Allow them, give them the freedom to go find out an answer.
Like what? Tell me where. Tell me, suggest. Allow them to do research. They don't know what to do.
Like go Google out.
Google. Just Google Guru. Google.
It's not just like reading something.
Microsoft and Google. Two people. That's knowledge is equal to Google plus Microsoft. I was just joking. Yeah.
Experiences, talking to other people, seeing things. I mean, there are so many ways you can try to learn something. It's just not Google, etc.
Okay. Giving them the freedom to explore, talk to people, find out. Okay, you could do that. One at a time. Yeah, sorry. Explore together. Let me see. I'm going to pose a question to you. Let me see if you're going to explore together. Right. I'm coming. You know, see, you never know. I mean, I don't know. I think one can never predict what questions are going to come for the kids. Hold on. Yeah.
I do not have an answer, but I definitely think they should not look up the answer.
Sorry?
I do not have an answer to the question, but I definitely think they should not look up the answer. Immediately get the answer.
Okay. You say, okay, it's okay not to the answer immediately. Take a time to find out.
Yeah, they have to find out. They should not get the answer immediately.
Okay. Don't throw the answer at them. Make it as difficult as possible to get the answer. Yeah.
By
questioning.
Even in our life, we get to a state that we may not know the answer, and whoever we go, they may not be able to give the right answer.
Nobody knows the answer.
How do we go about doing it? We go talk to people, or that's
so not easy sometimes. Yeah.
Convince him that he can find the answer.
Convince him. What will you do? Tell me. See, you guys are giving all these future parents can't come up with all these exotic solutions, right? I'm going to remember all this. I'm going to, it's getting videographed, so I'm going to play this video to all these guys later on, right? And see, these guys think it's all easy.
You
Yeah.
can as theoretical as you can till you meet the reality.
Sorry? Oh yeah, theoretical knowledge, yeah. So what did you suggest, sir? Sorry, Raghav? 1 minute, sir. How? I mean, if you say a small kid is there, question, okay, you can find out. I mean, do you think it's simple? Ask the parents. Go and ask the parents. Come on, sir. Go and ask the parents. Does it work like that? Yes, sir.
See, I have a son who's doing engineering.
Yeah.
And many times he tells me that he is doing reasonably well. It's because I don't give him answers.
Okay.
And it's not that he has not asked me any doubt, but more or less I would do the same thing. I would ask him to find it on his own way, because I think there is already enough spoon feeding in your college.
In my college? Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's what we specialists do. Spoon feed and spoil.
I don't think there's anything wrong in using a Google or something if you know exactly how to use it.
Yes.
So probably sometimes I might tell him as to what are the sources you might have to use for finding out where is answer.
Well, you got to say something, please.
Like you do honestly in your classes, just say you don't know. And when you find out, first let him ask him what he knows about that, what he doesn't know about that. Let him compartmentalize.
Not all questions are there. It's as though you have the answer, but the parent won't think how to deal with it.
Yes, yes.
There are questions the parent won't answer.
But you can't tell.
How to deal?
Oh, yeah, that's a difficult one. You know the answer. I'm coming to that. See, that's from experience. These guys, the future parents think it's all easy. The parents know how tough a task it is. I'm going to, let me tell you my experience. I was teaching, I'm a physics teacher. But 1 year I was in the American school, American International School. So the principal called me 1 year and said, Ravi, I want you to teach biology for grade 7. I thought, what is this? Biology? I'm a physics person. Then he said, Ravi, it's easy. All you need to do is know a little bit more than a 12-year-old kid. I thought, wow, that's a cool way to convince, right? You could convince adults. Because they don't question much, probably. I said, okay, and the year went on. It was a great year for me. I loved the class. Then came the topic of reproduction. 7th grade kids, please. The principal had already told me, Ravi, all you need to know a little bit more than a 12-year-old kid. I had a student in my class. He said, Mr. Ravi, how does the baby come out? Do they cut open? This is what he showed. He showed me. Young boy, 12 years. He said, do they cut open? Now, how are you going to answer it? Not easy. Then next day I played a video. I explained to the class how a baby is born. I had a video, the birth of a baby. I showed them. I have no experience telling all this to kids. I'm a physics teacher. Somebody said theoretical knowledge, probably. Explain this to small kids, it's difficult. I showed the video. Then I happened to meet a parent of one of the other students in my class, and she met me and she got to know that I explained all this thing, and she was very happy, and she said, Mr. Ravi, it's great that you talk about all this in class. And she told me her experience with her daughter. And she explained that my daughter was equally surprised when I explained this, and she said, it is as surprising as a big pumpkin coming out of a small opening. The parent told me that. This is what she told her daughter. Now, how many of us would do that? As she said, would you tell or would you not tell? Now, it's not easy, but she told her. I'm not saying that it will work with every kid, but a question like this could come, and I think you must give an answer. And I don't think anybody can give a better answer for the question than the parents do. I got a small, what does rounds as joke. It's a made-up story. There is this kid, curious kid, goes to his mom and says, Mom, how was I born? How did I come into this world? The mom said, oh, very simple. I had a bowl in my hands. I prayed to the great Lord, and he dropped me onto the bowl. There I was born. That's why you are born. Wow. Fine. The kid moves on to his granddad and asks the granddad, hey, granddad, how was my mom born? Hey, that's simple. I had a bowl in my hands. I prayed to the great Lord, right? And the Lord dropped your mom onto the bowl. That's why your mom was born. Wow, good answer. It goes to great granddad. Asked great granddad, how was my granddad born? Simple again. I had a bowl in my hands. I was praying to the great Lord. He dropped it onto the bowl. There he was. Then the kid said, wow, now I understand. There have been 3 generations of sexual inactivity in the family. 12-year-old kids. And this principal, the principal in my school, he said, Ravi, you need to know just more than 12-year-old kid. You need to know a lot more than a 12-year-old kid. Because they have Google. Right? They have Google. Yeah. So, I mean, the point is, what I believe is you must give honest answers. Be honest. No, I don't think we should be giving such answers. It doesn't work. Then the kid thinks, oh, there's no point asking these people. These guys do not know. They don't know how to make babies. Right? The kids will think, oh, these guys do not know how to make babies. Well, the point is you may lose connect. My concern is because such answers, you may lose connect with your daughter or son. So that connect must be there, because these are things I think nobody can explain better than the parents. It's my view. I don't know. I would like to hear maybe sometime later what you think about it. I think these are great questions for the parent. And you see, the point is that the future parents anticipate. This was 7 years ago, and the next generation, they probably will not even ask the question because they know the answer. Right? Yes. Yeah, someone said library, you say don't know, and allow them to explore and find out. Again, Carl Sagan says this. He says, there are many better responses than making a child feel that asking deep questions constitutes a social blunder. Don't say, hey, that's a dumb question, don't say that. Don't do that. Don't ask such questions. How did the baby come? Don't ask such questions. It's about your body. The way I understand it's about your body. First, it's a health education. It's health education. I think you must know your body. I think it's important. If you have an idea of the answer, you can try to explain. Somebody pointed out. Even an incomplete attempt constitutes a reassurance and encouragement. If you have no idea about the answer, you can go to the encyclopedia. If you don't have the encyclopedia, go to the library. Or you might just say, I don't know the answer. Maybe no one knows. And maybe when you grow up, you'll be the first person to find out. Now that's wonderful, isn't it? I mean, it's great that people can write like this. It's amazing. These are great teachers, I would say. And it's also nice that many of you have voiced some of the ideas that Carl Sagan has suggested. And it's great that you're practicing a difficult art of handling kids. Yeah. Then, okay, my next topic is parent-teacher conferences. You meet up, have parent-teacher meeting. You go meet the teacher. Question. Now, you go meet the school teacher. What do you generally ask the teacher about your son or daughter? What do you go and ask? Talk to each other. Talk to each other. Yeah. What is the typical conversation about with the teacher? Please talk to each other. Again, I would like to hear from people from the back rows. And those who already interacted, please wait. I would want others to contribute. You're ready? Wow. Yeah, maybe we can start. Yeah.
First question I'll ask, how is he studying?
How is he studying? Okay. How is he studying? Okay.
How is he behaving?
One at a time, madam, please.
How is his behavior?
Behavior in the class, wonderful.
How he communicates with his friends.
How does he communicate with his friends? That's wonderful. How does he interact with other people? Very good, that's wonderful. Next.
How does he interact with you?
With me? Okay. With the teacher, how does he interact with the teacher? Anybody else from that side? Yeah, please.
I just make an open-ended statement saying, how is he doing?
How is he doing? Okay. Okay, how is he doing? Yes, sir?
I have a different view.
Please.
I know most of what my daughter does at home. So usually I would never ask the question to the teacher.
You know what your daughter does, so you don't ask any question to the teacher.
I will ask the teacher, I will ask the teacher if you have any questions.
Or you'll ask the teacher if you have any questions to you. what do you expect from a teacher?
Yeah, first time when I asked, the teacher asked me like, would your daughter ever sit at home?
Okay. 1 minute. I think you may need a mic because you may not be audible. Sorry about that.
So when she asked this question, the first answer, like what I thought was I should say, no, she never sits, because that's the truth. But I would say, like, if she's occupied, she always sits at a place.
Okay.
So she can't ask the next question to me.
Okay. Anybody else would like to say something?
Well, I think I'll ask, as a teacher, what are your teaching methods? How do you learn? Where do you refer to the Wikipedia?
You will ask this question to the teacher? Tough parent. We teachers never want to meet such parents. Yeah, sorry sir, sorry to interrupt, please.
Because if I can assess the teacher, if she's doing a good job in her own work, then she'll take care of the student also properly.
Okay. Could you rephrase sir? Yeah, could you please?
I don't mean to say it in a lighter way or anything like that. It's actually quite serious. You should ask your teacher how she is learning, how she can treat the children.
Okay, I think you're telling something. From what I gather, it's very important. Could you please summarize one by one your ideas?
Just find out about the teacher.
You find out about the teacher. Like what do you want specifics?
Whatever you naturally will come across.
Can you give some specifics, sir? You said teaching method. Something did I hear you saying?
What kind of ideas she's inculcating to the student, and how does she actually teach the student?
Okay, the teaching methodology, the approach to teaching.
I don't want to get too technical.
Okay.
But at what level is she approaching the student?
Okay, you want some details about the program?
Not even details.
Okay.
It is just her overall approach to the whole thing, you know.
How inspiring.
It's a preparation.
Preparation. How inspiring the teacher is. Okay. Wow, you got great expectations. Wow. Yeah.
I will ask the teacher whether my son or daughter is attentive in the class. Does he pay attention? Then is he able to ask questions, or is he just quietly speaking?
Okay.
Then whatever that he writes, or whatever the important notes that is being given, is being copied to him. Do you verify it? Or do you verify it? At times if they don't verify it, I'll check his class.
Wow. It's great to hear such ideas, but let me share a few thoughts. Number one, my policy as a teacher is never to talk about a student without the student. If a parent wants to talk to me about the kid, bring the kid along. Because I don't see a point in talking to the parent without the kid. By the way, this is not what I found out on your own or something. I was working in the American school. My principal's suggestion was this. My principal's suggestion when I was in American school, he said, Ravi, when you talk to parents about the kids, ask them to get the kid along. Talk to the parents about the kids with the kids. I think that's, in my view, I think it's showing a lot of respect to the student. And he or she needs to understand what I think or what you think, because we are working as a team. To leave anyone out, I don't think it makes any sense to me. So talk about the student with the student. So next time when you go to a conference, maybe you can try taking a kid along. I had this question posed by a parent. I want to share this with you. I told you they're all real instances. I remember all these instances. I know the student's name. I know the dad's name. I remember everything. I remember everything. By the way, she was in your school. The student was your school. So I remember that much. 1999, that's 15 years ago, 16 years ago. So this parent met me and said, Ravi, I'm not here to ask you about how my daughter's doing a test. I want to know if she really understands what she's doing. How do you find out? Like what you asked me, some details.
I think it's a good point.
Pretty much what you said.
It's exactly what is needed. That she know what she's doing. That's the bottom line for all education.
Wonderful. Exactly. In fact, he has phrased it in a slightly different way what I think your expectation is. Well, as a teacher then, I didn't expect this question from the parent. I didn't know how to respond. Because honestly, I was a kind of a beginning teacher. I had already taught for 8 years, beginning teacher, 25 years now, beginning teacher. Because if I was beginning teacher, I can always offer excuses and get away. That's the point, right? So, I think, when you're a new teacher, something goes wrong, you can say, I'm a new teacher, inexperienced. An experienced teacher, something goes wrong, you say, blame it on the student. Because I'm an experienced teacher, I can't be wrong. So I can get away both ways. But anyway, I was not prepared for this question. Because I had not observed if she really learns. So I was not prepared. I said, I told Dad, I don't know. I need to find out. He said, Ravi, please try. He also continued by saying, I think my daughter's doing things, getting good scores, but I think, this is what he said. He said, I think my daughter doesn't completely understand what she's doing. So he said, sorry? Exactly. I mean, it's a great thing for me as a teacher. I think such parents have made me understand my job in a better way. I think for the first time I really understood what I'm supposed to do. Not that I improved all the years, not that I improved, but again, such questions come back and actually haunt me. Because whenever I meet a new student, this question comes back.
How many students in your class when that question?
Sorry, sir?
The time this question was asked, how many students?
At that time, I had about 20 students in my class. There are about 20 students, easily 20. Now I have bigger classes, so even then I was not able to pay attention. You see now, obviously, I would not be honest if I say I'm really paying attention. But this thought at least is there, that's all I can tell you. But I think it's great. It's a great question. It's another matter whether I'm able to do it, but I think it's great that parent, look at the way the question has been phrased, very clear, very pointed. I owe an explanation, I owe an answer. I don't have a good answer. I think that was 1999. Yeah, I don't want to talk much about tests and exams, but what I would like to tell parents is, regarding test scores, I think there's this concern versus anxiety. I think if parents display more of concern and not so much of that anxiety gets the better of them sometimes. It's understandable because it's probably the two words don't mean very different. I do not know. So I think we have to find better ways of expressing our concern, because when you simply say not done well in tests, well, in fact, a parent met me the other day, and she said my daughter is not doing well in tests. I've been encouraging her, but she's not doing well. She's dull in physics, something. First of all, I told the parent, don't tell your daughter is dull. I mean, it's just an exam, 11th standard, 12th standard. Okay, you do badly in a test, so what? I mean, there are other things to do in life. Then I asked the student, hey, why are your test scores not great? I mean, I don't judge any student by test scores, but okay, that is a data in front of you. You can't wish away the data. That is a data. Test scores say something. Then she said, sir, I don't understand what I'm doing. She very clearly says she doesn't understand. Now, what's the point in the mom saying you are not doing well, you're not doing well? No, she doesn't understand. And it's great when a student tells me that, because this student wants to understand. You see that? The student says, I'm not able to perform well because I'm not able to understand, and which means she wants to understand, she's just unable to. So that's where we have to, our concern has to be there. Concern is more important than anxiety. If you simply say, do well, study hard, read more, go to this tuition class, go to that tuition, it doesn't help. It doesn't really help. Because, well, I don't have a solution for this. I don't have a solution, but I think you will come up with a better solution. You will probably come up with a solution for this. I do not know. So maybe the anxiety part you have to bottle up a little bit, or completely, I would say. I mean, for me, I never rate student by test scores they get. For me, marks are mere numbers. And I would never want to reduce my students to two-digit numbers. Hey, 43, hey, 24, 75. And in fact, many people, after the exam, they call me and tell me the marks. Sir, I got 95. I say, very good. Somebody will call me, sir, I got 75 only. I say, very good. I got 43 only, sir. I say, very good. It's okay. You got 43, be happy, it's okay. It's done. I mean, my concern as a teacher is the process. 1 full year, has he taken effort to learn? It's fine. Finally, 43, 84. fine, it's okay. Because there are kids. I think we shouldn't be branding them on the marks they get. I personally think nobody remembers the marks except the top rankers. So that is 1 in class of 60. So others would like to forget. So forget them. Very recently, a parent met me and offered this suggestion to me. Please conduct tests every week. Talk to each other. This was the suggestion from a parent to me. Every week, Ravi, you conduct a test. Talk to each other. Oh, yeah. 1 minute, sir. You have a question different from this? You have a previous question? Okay, we'll go back in a few minutes. Please wait. If I forget, please remind me. Let's conduct tests every week. So in a year, I may have 45 weeks of class, 45 tests. Louder. Yeah. Anybody here? I would like. Yeah. Okay. Shall we pull in some thoughts? See, some of you may totally disagree with this. You may be in favor of this. But either way, let's be very moderate in our comments. Let's not say, oh, it's bad, blah, blah. Yeah, you may think it is. That's your view. But this is a view of a parent. That's all. I mean, a view I think has to be respected first. You may have a different view. You may do something else. That's up to you. But the point is I'm looking at for best practices as parents. I mean, as a teacher, I may follow this. You may think, you may say it's a very good practice, or you may disagree with me. The point is, does it ensure learning is my question. That's my concern as a teacher. That's all. It may be a great suggestion, you may follow, you may say it's not a good suggestion, you may reject, but goal is learning. Yeah, who would like to add something? I want some people who have not yet contributed. Please, sir.
So instead of making it as a pressure, it should be a habit.
Habit means?
Writing test should be a habit.
Writing test. So you are in favor of this? Okay, you are in favor. My friend is in. Should be once, not more than that. Not every week. Once in 4 weeks. Once in 4 weeks enough. Okay, once in 4 weeks. Once every week. 1 minute, sir, please. I like to have new voices. Once I finish everybody, yeah, I'll take you. But I want to hear new voices. Hold on. Yeah.
I think having tests once in a week is like giving a deadline to learning.
1 minute. Repeat. Giving a deadline to learning. Oh, I like that. I like the phrase. He says, every week you go a test, you are giving deadline to learning. So, but we have deadlines in life. That's a reality.
I have to learn that problem before the test comes. So that shouldn't be reality.
Okay. What should be that?
I think I should take my own time to do things. I go wrong 100 times and 101st time I figure it out myself, and that's what learning is according to me. Because I think I've learned much more than learning the problem before a test.
Okay, 1 minute. Can you hear what she says? Or would you? Is a mic necessary? I think mic may be necessary. Yeah, sorry. You have a great point. I would like you to repeat it once.
I'll go from the first.
Yeah, please. Make it shorter. That's all. I like what you said the first line. Could you repeat it?
Conducting tests every week is like giving a deadline to learning. The student keeps thinking, I have to learn this problem before the test comes up. But according to me, if I haven't learned that problem before the test, I would rather not go to the test.
Wow. Future parent?
Yes.
Let me see. I'm going to ask this question later on. Yeah. Yeah. You have a point? Yeah, please.
I think tests are good as long as you view them as practice, not as the end result. So you don't attach too much importance to the marks of the test. Okay. But you view them as practice, because that's the only way you can actually get feedback on how the student actually does.
Yeah, that's a point in favor of that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to give a chance to people who have yet to interact. So you have to please hold on. You might excuse me for that, but yeah, please. Yeah, please.
I have a question. My thought would be to include also the students on this decision making process. You can also ask the students.
Oh, you are the student. Okay. Yeah. He says, ask the student, hey, you guys want a test every week. Yeah. So make them part of the whole process. I think it's very democratic, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, I think it's important. I mean, it's like if I decide unilaterally, well, I don't know. I think it's very undemocratic. A good point. Well, I don't know whether I'm going to. I'm not. Well, sometimes when in a test, I ask people, should I postpone by a week or so? That's what I do as a teacher. But yeah, it's a good point to consult. I think what he's trying to say is consult the students and come to a decision. I mean, yeah, I like that point. Yeah.
I like the motive behind the idea, but not the idea.
Sorry.
I like the motive behind the idea, but not the idea itself.
Motive you like, but you don't like the idea. Why do you do that?
Because there's a chance that the student will learn because he has to, but not because he wants to.
I like that. You always learn. You must learn when you want to, not because you have to. You can't force learning. My friend pointed out, no deadlines.
Motive actually behind.
Yeah, you want to say something, please?
Yeah, because parents have anxiety. So only time they see the children study when the test comes.
So every time you want to see the test study, give tests all the time. Oh,
That's the general hypothesis of parents. If there's exam,
you are okay with it or not okay with it?
I'm definitely not okay with it. But it comes from the parents' anxiety that wants more tests. Yeah.
Somehow there is a thought that more tests means more learning, more studying rather.
Yeah. They want to always study.
Have the book in the hand. Yeah. Just a minute.
I have a few things to tell with respect to what everybody has told till now. One thing of no deadlines. I don't think this no deadlines is practical. We have deadlines for everything. Our life itself is finite, so you can't tell I'll learn at my own pace and learn. When you have to learn it in your 12th standard, you can't tell I'll learn it at the age of 50. So I don't endorse that idea. And second thing is, I like this, maybe not in the exact way of test every week, but I like this concept because instead of giving 12 chapters to a student at a time, you ask the student to learn topic by topic, which is very good. I like it that way, learning and assimilating little by little, and that is how I think learning should happen. And the third one is, in many cases, in my own case, when I had exams, and even when I have an upcoming exam in 2 weeks, I find myself studying just before the exam. And when I start studying, because it is an exam, I am interested more in the subject, and this is just like a push. Exams for me are just like a push to start studying for people like me who have starting trouble. So I think this is a very good idea, maybe implemented in a slightly different way.
Well, there's no single opinion which will sell, isn't it? Yeah? Yeah, I missed you, sorry.
So like she said, there are different kinds of people who learn differently. So you could probably keep it every week, but don't make it compulsory. So there will be some people who want to write it. They take it as a motivation and they want to write it. There will be some people who, probably looking at these people writing, they'll feel motivated to study and write it probably. So, and there will be some people who will not bother. So they probably learn at their own pace and do it when they finally need to. So, needn't be compulsory.
Wonderful. It's great to hear such ideas, please. I'm running short of time. So, well, there is no single solution. Same your point to offer or the previous? You want me to go back? Okay.
I have a challenge between concern and anxiety. I'll tell you why. My daughter is not doing well. Is that a concern or anxiety?
My daughter is not doing well. Will be an anxiety.
I'm struggling to understand when you say you should be concerned but not anxious. I think that's what you are saying.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But I am not able to understand that.
Anybody who can help me out on that? Sorry? That's anxiety.
No, that's a response. Able to, communicate it in a very polite and in a very proper manner that it actually becomes a child and it is.
Wow. Yes. One at a time, sir, please.
I think if you react to the situation, it's more of anxiety, and when you respond to it, it's more of something.
Wow. I like that.
No, I think we are playing with the words here.
Your attention goes to the kids. One minute.
If you really concern to your kid, then the students will understand and they will lead to better.
Yes. It's positive.
Yeah, mental attention transmits from parents to kids.
Thank you for saving me because I was struggling how to respond. That's why I always go for a discussion because when you don't know, just ask others. Ignore, just don't bother.
Okay, sometimes for parents, anxiety is a proactive behavior.
Oh, that's considered proactive. Yeah.
Concern is
It's not that active. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Virupaksha.
Yeah, see, if a parent reacts to the performance in test and exam of a kid, and that reaction is going to, everybody reacts, okay? When you ask something, he reacted, I react, she reacts, everybody reacts. If the reaction is going to be hurting to the kid, okay, then don't do it. If the reaction is going to be making the kid understand what it means, I think that reaction is much better. So I even do not understand, if people want to say concern is mature enough to do it, and anxiety, see, I can be concerned and I can still make the kid hurt.
Yeah.
I can make the kid hurt, right? So if the kid can understand that, my reaction is about you learning rather than, not about the performance in the test, that reaction is much matured and much better than
Wonderful.
concern or anxiety.
That's lovely.
Ultimately, are you going to make the kid feel guilty?
No, you shouldn't, I think, right?
Kid will feel guilty, but we should also tell them that I used to do this to my kid, okay? I also used to do like this. I mean, I'll
Like
tell
what?
the same sentence. I also used to do like this.
Like what?
but
Like what? Tell us
for
what you
example,
did.
if my kid gets, say he does a silly mistake and he lost 2 marks in mathematics, and he had a bet with his teacher. He got only 98%. I did
Only
the same-
98. Look at that. Look at that. 98. Come on, please. It's 98.
98. Okay. I told him I have also done similar mistake before, so don't worry.
Wonderful.
So, I mean, and by the way, myself and my wife played different role. I always tell, don't worry about marks, think about knowledge. And my wife will tell, I'm worried about marks, because mark is an indication of your knowledge.
And who wins the battle at home? You didn't tell us that.
No,
who
we are
wins the
not
battle?
playing a good, and we both, I tell one thing, when you grow up, you will understand both the sentences.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, let me move on. Yeah, I forgot to tell you my thoughts on this. I don't mind, but we may be running short of time.
No, the test, this one, the test one. I mean, this depends on how the test is. If
Okay.
the test itself can be very enjoyable,
Wonderful.
the test can be that, I mean, the enjoyable test can also make you put you down. That's okay, but at least.
Yes,
No, but the test itself is like kind of, many times the questions in the test itself can make you think and understand. Okay, so it also depends on how the test is conducted. And I know there's a lot of research on this formative assessment and summative, why formative should not have a timeline for exams, and probably, because, like many times the test comes with not the deadline of a test, but also test itself as a deadline of finishing in 1 hour or finishing in 2 hours, and that does most of the damage.
Yeah, let me finish off with what I want to tell something. I told you I was working in the American school, and I'm not a great believer in tests, but it so happened once I had to give back-to-back tests, not for grading, somebody said for practice. So I gave back-to-back, one day and day after. 3 days I gave 2 tests in biology, for the biology class I mentioned. So that was 7th standard class. You know what a 7th standard girl came and told me? You'll be shocked. She said, Mr. Ravi, the job of a teacher is to teach, not test us all the time. I'm not joking. She said that to me. I mean, it keeps ringing in my ears. Each time I give a test, as you said, is the test meaningful? I didn't say anything. I didn't have an answer. But these are all, they're great teachers, let me tell you. For me, they're great teachers. They help me to refine my job. And they also make me understand this is a difficult, difficult job. Sometimes I wonder, why did I get into this? But, well, let me try to do a better job. But you see, 7th standard kid telling this to you on your face, Mr. Ravi, the job of a teacher. See that clarity in the statement. 7th grade girl telling you, I remember the name, by the way. I mean, all these stories, I remember the names. I mean, I can write a book maybe later on. I'll tell you all this. Amazing. I would like to meet all these people again. I mean, I wish I'd be fortunate enough to meet all these people and thank them in person. how much of a difference they made to me. 7th grade kid telling, Mr. Ravi, your job is not to give tests all the time, teach us. My gosh. I have this, this was an essay by one of my students. I was a teacher in Padma Sheshadri then. It was his English exam, this guy. He was in 12th standard. I happened to see his English exam paper. So I have a photocopy of this exam paper with me at home. I emailed him the other day. 2002 batch. He said, my cousin returned home after his half-yearly exams. He was received by his parents who were anxiously waiting to know how his exam went. Will he be the top ranking student in the class? Was the question ruling the minds. It was the day of his mathematics exam. He is in the LKG. This was a great piece of writing. I preserved it at home. I have a photocopy still. I was chatting with him the other day and I asked him, do I have your permission to use it in my presentation? He said, Ravi, go ahead, but I am embarrassed. Then I told him, I won't name you, don't worry about that. But it's a great piece of writing. It's wonderful that a 12th standard student could write like that. Look at the last line, LKG. When I was unprepared for the last line. See the build up, see the tempo, it builds up, then it delivers a punch. Is the LKG. It's wonderful. 12th grade student. What parents think of the kids? I got some thoughts on this. This is the way some parents meet me. They say, my son or daughter is weak in physics. I want to put you in classes. I wish parents could phrase it differently. Instead of saying weak. Test scores means something, I understand. But I wouldn't want parents to use the word weak explicitly. At least not in front of the kid. Never, I would say, never. But certainly not in front of the kid. So, I don't know how else to phrase it. Maybe you are better judges on this. But my son is weak in physics. On what basis are you telling this? An year of physics. Less than a year of physics he does, and you deliver the judgment based on some test scores. With the test itself may not be meaningful. From what you said, it may be a dead boring test. It doesn't really test your understanding, and we are already ready with the judgment that this guy is weak in physics. So there's one extreme, parents think my son is dull. But the other extreme, the other end of the spectrum as well. Years ago, I had a parent meet me with this kid, 7th grade, 8th grade. He has just passed his, he cleared the Olympiad exam, the National Olympiad exam. Some astronomy Olympiad, I remember very well. And the dad was very happy about it. My son has done exceedingly well. And I was a 12th standard teacher, so subject specialist. And he wants his son to learn more. So he said, my son has cleared the astronomy Olympiad. Nice, good news, great achievement. Then he said, I want you to spend some time with my son. I said, okay. Then I asked the student, what's your interest? He said, astronomy, 7th grade. Then I asked him, what do you know about astronomy? He said, I know about gravitation, I know about escape velocity. Then I asked him, what do you know about escape velocity? He gave the formula. Anything you ask, he has the formula, but he doesn't know the explanation. Then I asked him some probing questions on the laws, fundamental laws governing gravitation. He was not able to tell. Now, it's okay for me if the student is not able to tell. I'm not saying he should know. But the problem, I believe, is the student and the parent both think. The student thinks he's an expert in astronomy, which isn't the case. But it's okay. He's a young boy, 7th grade. I don't expect him to know the laws of physics. It's okay. But the problem is the parent thinking, my son is already a foot on the moon. He's the next astronaut. No, don't do that. I think parents should avoid doing that. It's just blowing your expectation to astronomical proportions, pun intended. Don't do that. Let me tell you what happened later on. So he's an astronomy Olympiad topper, right? And I got to see him in 11th grade later on. He was not doing great. Let me not comment on marks and all. I'm not going to go with the marks. But this guy was not the so-called top ranking. He was struggling. I think what happened was, I had a concern. When the parent met me, I had a concern. Oh my gosh, this guy is, the parents are putting so much pressure on the kid. It may be counterproductive. My concern in 7th grade was that, and it was confirmed in 11th grade. He was in my class in 11th standard. He was struggling with Newton's laws, struggling with fundamental laws in physics.
Could you blame it on the test?
Well, I'm not, I mean, I'm not, I don't know, I didn't think of blaming anybody, but I'm looking at, yeah, maybe, as she said, the test may not be really reflecting your understanding. That's a great question which she asked. Does the test really reflect your understanding? In this case, I think it didn't. He knows all the formulas by heart. It's an Olympiad, yeah. So don't go with the name, it's an Olympiad, yeah, that's again, that's a good point. But well, the same Olympiad which has, I mean, he didn't know the formula, he didn't know how to explain.
That means something is distracted.
I wouldn't want to use the word destructive, but I would only say I am really concerned about the whole thing. Now, that's one student. I'm sure it's happening every year. And every time an Olympiad is conducted, my concern is another child is lost to science. My concern as a teacher is that you have these Olympiads, all great, fine, but something else may be happening. You may be losing great scientists. Yeah. Somebody said about taking decisions. I heard this taking decision from somebody. Did I hear this quarter? I don't know. I heard. There are times kids have to take decisions. What's your role as a parent? Talk to each other. We have to keep it short. We have about 15 minutes time. I think we start at 6:15. We'll go till 7:45. I have 15 minutes time. Yeah. Regarding taking decisions, what's your role as a parent? Talk to each other, please. You already faced it, or you're going to face it, or you'll be doing it later for certain. Yeah, please.
To take the decision, whatever he wants to.
Oh, you mean who should be encouraged? The student. The kid should take a decision, whatever he wants. Okay. Just leave the student, let him do whatever he or she wants. Okay, that's, it should be a collective decision. Okay.
The decision should be taken by the student. However, as a parent, you should be responsible of giving him all the avenues available. Like all the suggestions, you should be giving him the input. But the decision can.
So the decision should be taken by the student, but you can probably play a supporting role. I like that. Yeah?
You suggest, he decides.
You suggest options and let him take a decision. Let him take a decision. Wonderful. This is great parenting, I would say. I'll tell you what my principal suggested when I was in the American school. I always loved interacting with this principal in the American school. A very nice gentleman. I interacted with him maximum of half an hour in 3 years. Total, put together, half an hour in 3 years, but I learned a lot. He was a great man. He said, this is what he suggested for me. He said, never take decision for high schoolers, help them take a decision. So you're voicing with somebody, he is a great educationist. This principal is a great educationist. When you talk to him, you can see great concern for the students. And you voice very much what he suggested to me as a teacher. So help them to take a, you suggest, you present options, and as you said, help them to take a decision. And let me tell you, you give the freedom. One other concern which I think is, you may give the freedom, but freedom is a responsibility. And let me tell you, freedom sometimes you may not know what to do with the freedom. That's also another aspect of the whole thing. Those of us who would want to give the freedom also have to understand that too many things in front of you. The kid will probably come back to you and ask for, hey, what did you decide? So that can happen. So it's again not easy. To give the freedom is great. I mean, I think it's a wonderful attitude. But again, I think a lot more discussion has to go on. What did you suggest, sir? You have to? Yeah, venues available. I think it's called for a long, detailed discussion. And finally, I think what the next step parents have to do is help them take a decision, and then you stand by their decision. They are your kids. So it may be later on you may think it's a wrong decision, but okay, you did it, you've gone through it, do something else. So I don't think there's a wrong decision. So I think you can still be supportive. But this was what my principal suggested to me. Yeah. This incident in 2007. The earlier incident I narrated was 1999. This was again an American school. It's about a parent-teacher conference. The system in American school is like the mom and dad will fix up an appointment with you for 10 minutes and they'll come and talk with you. They'll have a notebook. You can see in the notebook they would have written Mr. Ravi, questions for Mr. Ravi. And this is what they had for me. They said, Mr. Ravi, we are not greatly concerned about the test scores of our daughter. We wish to know if she is looking for details in what she learns. Can you give us specific instances where she has displayed her ability to probe deeply and demonstrate her understanding? You want my response? Somebody said, what did you say? I had not learned my lesson in 8 years. 1999 to 2007, I was blank. It was a big punch for me. I had no answer, no clue. 2007, I said I started teaching in 1991. 16 years into the job, you're not learning. If this year some parent comes and asks me, I'll be equally blank. Let me tell you, it's a tough job. But I think it's a great question. This question, I think, I'm sure most parents have it. Probably they don't voice it, they don't phrase it this way, but I think this is amazing. It's great. So each time I get a student, I look for this. Some of my students tell me, you got to see me, I tell you in class, look for details. I borrowed the phrase from them. In class, you would have seen me tell all the time, look for details. It's a phrase I borrowed from them. Amazing people.
Are these parents Americans or Indians?
Yes, Americans. Now, some of these parents, the earliest was Indian. That 1999 was Indian parent.
You must realize that many Americans tend to be somewhat more educated, intelligent, and they do know things a little better than other parts of the world. So I'm not.
People may take offense to a statement, but anyways.
I'm not offending anyone.
They voice out more, yeah. As you said, boldly they'll go and ask you. They'll ask, what is your teaching practice?
That they will definitely do, but they also know that limitation of tests and what is more important. All that stuff they happen to know better than some other parts of the world. This is my observation, not offense or anything like that. So I'm not surprised that.
Yeah, I would actually go with what you said. From my experience, many American parents, increasingly I find Indian parents also doing the same thing. Increasingly I find more parents, I meet very often parents who have something like this. There's a lesser focus on exams and marks, and many parents these days come and tell me, I want my daughter to understand, my son to understand. Things are changing. It's very bright, I would say. Probably they had such questions earlier on. Maybe now they're more vocal, which I think is a great thing. It makes my job really difficult. It makes my job really, really difficult.
But it also gives you a chance to change education altogether.
Altogether, I don't know, but change a little bit at least from my side. I changed myself rather. So yeah, so it's a deep question. Tests to be designed that way. So meaningful tests. Meaningful tests. It's very difficult to set tests like that. Sometimes I end up giving tests because I need to give once in 3 weeks. Because my agenda says so. My weekly agenda says 3rd week of June, we have a test. So I have to make a test. Why? Because I have to give a test. That's all.
Ravi, I have 2 questions.
Yeah, please.
So what's your take on the education in Finland?
In?
Finland.
I'm not too sure, sir. Finland, I'm not too sure. I had a student from Finland earlier on, but I didn't have a chance to talk to her about the system in Finland. I'm not too sure. This is another suggestion from a parent. Reward test performances. Along the top scorers name in class. Your thoughts. Talk to each other. Talk to each other. This is what you should do. You said the top ranker, read the marks, give awards. Okay, can I have it from friends in the last row? Sahil and Lohit, right? Did I get your name right? Sahil. Can you please pass on the mic to my friend there?
That's okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? I think, Ravi sir, you got my first name for the first time in all the years that I've known.
Okay.
So, coming to this, the question that you asked is, now, based on this, I don't think, see, if I'm already not the top scorer, I don't want it rubbed in my face that somebody's done better than me.
You don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Second, it's counterproductive because then it's not like I'm going to go back home and do extra hard unless I actually am interested in it.
So only the top ranker is interested in that top mark. Yeah. So you don't really care. Okay. Thank you, that. Yeah. This is the first time I've seen Sahil talk in a gathering. I have never seen him interact in class. So Sahil has changed a lot. Wonderful, Sahil.
I think it's harmful for both the top scorer and the non.
Oh my, how do you say that?
Because if you announce in class and imagine you're going and telling your parents or something, the non-top or the average students, they would be compared like, you could have got like that. Then for the top scorer, why it's bad is your peers would be irritated with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, my practice is not to reveal this. I don't reveal. I just reveal the top score in the class. My practice is to teach only the top score, and I always believe that I need to take the top ranker's permission to reveal his score and name, because he may not want me to reveal it. So that's what I think. I think I should show respect because it is his mark, and I always believe marks are personal things, and I don't have the right to reveal to anybody else. But I just take the liberty of announcing the top score to set a benchmark for the students to know, hey, there's somebody in your peer group working at this level. This is my expectation. That's all. That's all. Just to tell people, I mean, you raise the bar or lower it, or I mean, don't lower it. You raise the bar accordingly and work at your own pace. That's what I would say. But this parent went on further and told me it will motivate the student. Let me finish. Hold on. Just a minute, sir. Just a minute. Let me finish. This parent suggested that it will motivate the student to do well. So I'd like to take, you have a response to that?
As long as the attitude to learn does not change, this is immaterial.
Yeah, but see, like what I see in today's life, like in my own class, like there's kind of a complex between the people who do really well and the people who don't. Like,
who has the complex? Both have a complex? Both have a complex, like what? Superiority complex? Oh, okay.
I'm topper, I know everything. Okay, so that and inferior, like I don't know anything. I don't even deserve to be in this class. So they get demotivated sometimes. So that can also happen.
Yeah. So, well, you can argue for, yeah? Sorry? Sorry? In sports, yeah? So that's reality of life. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't have. I can only tell you what I follow and the reason which I can offer you. That's in all these questions I find that you can always argue in favor of this side or that side. So, but I can only tell you what is convincing for me and why I follow a particular practice. I don't do this. I don't announce and I would disagree with the parent, because if the parent says my son or daughter will get motivated because of the awards I give, then this student is looking for external motivation. I wouldn't want to do that. But that wouldn't be preparing him enough. That's what my take is. I think that is not my job. My job is to provide meaningful learning atmosphere, help the kid learn. That's it. It's not my job to do. That's what I believe. I mean, you may disagree with me. That's fine with me. But I stand by it. I have never, gone out of this track. This is what I believe strongly, because it's not my job. The student has to have a natural internal motivation. So what if I say you're good for nothing? Will the student stop performing? So I think the motivation has to be internal, because that is his own motivation, not somebody else is going to reward me or award me. That shouldn't be the motivation. That is my take on it. Well, people may have a different view, but I think I can have my view. I have another question for me. I have another story to tell you. What's being a proactive parent? I had a parent years ago. Every time, once in 2 weeks, I would get a call. He would say, Ravi, my son has this exam coming up day after tomorrow. The topic is electrostatics. And he has finished Coulomb's law and applications of it. In Gauss' law, first 2 applications is thorough. The third application is struggling. He has solved all the problems from this particular book, but past year exam papers he has still not solved. What else should you do? Well, What else should he do? I don't know whether this. I mean, what really bothered me is I am not okay for this. This is like micromanaging to the extreme. Well, I don't know if parents will object to me saying this, but I'm not okay with this. My personal opinion is don't do this. Because somebody said prepare them to take decisions. This isn't. I mean, why do you go into those details? You are not going to write exam. I mean, sorry, I didn't say anything. No, I just listened because I didn't know how to react. Well, because this parent also thinks that he's doing a great job. So let him have the joy of it. But again, I think it's pretty harmful to the student. I think it's harmful. I mean, it's my opinion again. I wouldn't want him to do that. My concern is, why don't you ask your son to make a call to me and ask the same questions? I would be happy to answer. What this parent should have done, in my opinion, is, hey, just ask. Is there a test coming up? I think you can ask that question to your student. To a kid, you can ask that question. There's no harm in it. You can ask and say, how's the preparation? Or let's say your son tells you, hey, sir, dad or mom, I have some concern in these areas. Then say, okay, why don't you talk to Ravi? Simple as that. Talk to your teacher. I think that would be a very powerful role a parent is playing, because you are directing or suggesting ideas, somebody said, and let him decide. You're not going to write the exam, and you know the syllabus like this. I mean, the only thing that parent didn't do that year is write the exam. The only thing he didn't do. But why this micromanaging? It just, to be honest, it rattled me like anything. Every time I got a call, oh my gosh, whether the phone vibrates or not, I would kind of vibrate. I would kind of shake. My God, because it was getting, just getting to my nerves.
Why do you look at it as micromanaging? I think the parent might be taking tremendous interest in the person's.
That's why I didn't say anything. That's why I didn't say it. When she asked me, did you tell the parent anything? I didn't say anything. I'm only telling you this is my view on it. So it may be good parenting also. I think that's, you got to decide. I do not know. But as a parent, if I were a parent, I wouldn't do that. If you ask me my suggestion, I would say don't do that. Because in the real world out there, you are not going to be there. As somebody pointed out, you've got to be independent learners. They got to manage things on their own. In real life, you've got to manage things on your own. If you have in your job, in your office, nobody's going to do the things for you. You got to do it or you get fired. That's the reality. That's the way it goes. I think that's the reality. I mean, we all know it. In real life, nobody does it for you. Somebody gives a task for you, you just go to hell. That's it.
But in real life is full of rewards and motivations. If you look at the world is working, companies or any institutions working,
yeah,
it's all based on a high degree of rewards and motivations. And in your previous slide, you said that rewards and motivation should not be the core of learning.
I said,
preparing the person. So, are you not contradicting yourself a little bit here?
Well, I only said you need internal motivation. Yeah, let them give external awards for me. Okay, I work in a company. If they give me an award, so be it. Fine with me. I would say, okay, thank you. That's it. I won't put a crown on my head. I don't want anybody to put a crown on my head as well, because I know what I'm doing. I'm confident about myself. You reward me, it's fine, thank you. If you don't reward me, fine, thank you. Simple as that. Because I don't bother what others do. I mean, if I am confident, why would I look for an external motivation? I mean, in my view, I don't need. If somebody discourages me, then would I get demotivated? And I'm sure you'll also meet people around us who discourage you for whatever reason. Are you going to get demotivated? I think in a long run, as somebody said, a very advanced level, I think you must not look for external motivation. That's maybe I may be sounding philosophical. It may not be the reality as you pointed out. The real world may be different. But I think it's our world and we decide how we need to be. That's my take on it. Good parenting. I want some suggestions. Yeah? Make it very short, one line. Very short line because we're running out of time. Sorry? Life is not about school and college.
Yeah, there's so many other things, right?
Other than just studying, there's so many other things to life. You need to talk to the kids about this. Wonderful.
Interact with the child and be with them through thick and thin.
Wonderful. Spend more time talking to the kids. Interact with them.
Be with them when they are down. Be with them through the thick and thin.
Yeah. Be with them when they're thick and thin, when they're down or whatever. All times. They need you. Enjoy every moment in life with them.
Emotional comfort, intellectual comfort.
Emotional support. Support, intellectual support, yeah.
Make it more possible for whatever he can do and whatever he wants to do.
Give a supporting environment. Be an enabler. Be an enabler. Anybody else? Yeah? Encourage the hobbies. Look beyond school and college or exams and all that. Yeah? Sorry, sir? Okay. How do you translate in? Wow. Thank you. Live and let live. Okay. Wonderful. It's okay to do different. Oh, that's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's okay to a kid to be different. Yeah, I think we're all different. I think what I like in a classroom is the difference in people. I think that adds variety to the classroom. It brings great experience to my class, and it just makes my job very lively, and I enjoy it. Variety is great. Yeah.
Concentrate more on their personality development.
More on the personality development. How to face things in life. Success, preparing them for failure. I have a point on that, preparing for failure. My take is like what you suggested. I wouldn't want some other person to define my failure. You see that? Right? As much as I wouldn't, if somebody says, Ravi, you're a great person, I would say thank you. If you say you're a dumb fellow, thank you. Because I wouldn't want anybody to tell me I'm a failure. If it's a feedback which can help me to do better, I would welcome it. But just a statement thrown at me, I wouldn't really bother much about it. I remember Rudyard Kipling's poem, If. He says, I think victory or defeat, both imposters, treat them just the same. Success, failure, I believe, I may sound philosophical, but both just the same, treat them alike.
If you're able to get our kid to that maturity, then we are.
Wonderful. It's a tough scar, but try it. I think that's the joy of parenting. I think that's what I with my students also. I think we all work towards that. Okay, I Googled. Oh yeah, somebody says something else. Yeah.
There should be less government, more governance.
Less government and more governance. I go with it because I'm a Modi fan myself. Here are a few thoughts. I Googled. I'm proud to say that I Googled. Be a role model, somebody said. Find out what interests your kids. Learn together, somebody said that. Keeping his or her to be a caring learner, showing empathy. Keep TV to a minimum, so spend more time with your kids, not watching the TV. Have a library, somebody said books. Learn something new, you as a learn with the kid. Learn something new. Be a good listener. Strike conversation on topics which they may be interested at their age. Yeah. And give honest answers. Encourage them to explore, somebody pointed out. Help them to take charge for their learning. Go on vacation, spend some time, cool off. Watch good movies. I don't know what bad movies are. Good movies. Movies. Watch movies together. Discuss the movie. Maybe you can talk something about movies. Inculcate the habit of reading on a variety of topics right from an young age in kids. You may try all this. 15 commandments I suggested. Start following it. I'll also tell you a reaction of one of my students. I shared this with my student the other day. And she had one word for it, boring. So don't do this. So these are don'ts. And I'm actually waiting for this friend of mine to have a kid later on, and I'm going to ask her, did you try the boring stuff with your kid? I told her I'll wait for some time, I'll get back to you on this. And there's only one word she used, Ravi, it's boring. So don't try with the kids, it doesn't work. What good parenting is about? What I think, maybe I think I'll tell you some of my thoughts. Don't overschedule, do not micromanage. I think pretty much what you said. Help the kid to grow on her own. Don't be nosy. Give them the space. That's, I don't know, it's difficult. Let's not do their homework. Express concern and don't be negative about test scores. These are some things I think you could be more proactive as parent on these fronts, because without realizing we may be doing all this sometimes. Not intentional. As I said, somebody pointed out the boundary between anxiety and concern probably is very blurry, right? It's not easy. So I read this article yesterday on learning, yesterday night, so I thought I'll put it up. It's a research, it's not from the book, it's from a research article. The book is called Visible Learning, What's Good for the Goose. by Professor John Hattie. He says, Professor Hattie also suggests that positive expectations from a parents can be critical to the success of the children. As such, parents need to know how to speak the language of schooling so that they can provide assistance to their kids in terms of developing the child's learning and love for learning. I think that's a great word, a great phrase. The love for learning and creating high and positive shared expectations from learning. The love for learning, somebody pointed out, inculcate the love for learning, curiosity, allow them to explore, find out, allowing each kid to be different. I think this is what he means. And a very senior professor I was talking to yesterday, Ravi, said he's a professor in IMSC. He said, emphasize on these two facts. He's emailed me, so I thought I should share this with you. He said, parents should encourage kids to become teachers and scientists. Teachers and scientists aren't starving. I remember when I said, when I was a school student, I said, my friend's mom, I used to go to my friend's place, and lovely, nice mom, she'll make nice dosa, idli for me. Whenever I go, nice lady. And I told her I'm going to do physics. Why? I said I want to become a professor. She said, Ravi, why? What's wrong with you? What is this? Don't be like this. Why are you doing like this? I will pay you college fees. I'll put you in a college. Do engineering. Don't do physics. Don't do all these wrong things. But nice lady, I didn't say anything because whenever I go, nice dosa, idli will be given by her. So, but anyway, I'm doing physics. So I'm not starving. And he also wanted me to tell that somebody pointed out, learning is different from passing exams. He wanted me to emphasize that. I think many of you actually voiced these ideas in slightly different ways at least. And some books I want you to read. I told you The Dim and Haunted World, Carl Sagan. I Am Okay, Are You Okay? It's a great book to read. The Unschooled Mind by Howard Gardner is also a great book to read. And Rethinking the Way We Teach Science by Louis Rosenblatt. He's a friend of mine. He's a teacher in the United States. I met him a couple of times. A very amazing person. I spent 2 days with him. And we had great discussions. And he's written a book, Rethinking the Way. It's an amazing book. Great concern for the student. Great concern as a teacher for learning. You can see the passion in the book. Very few people can display that passion. An amazing person. Is a great book. I would invite you to read that book, Rethinking the Way We Teach Science by Louis Rosenblatt. Some credits. I put some websites. And my friends and parents and teachers. My parents in particular. My parents have given me a lot of freedom to do what I like. Like many of you suggested. They just left me do what I like. So, credits to them. And before I wind down, I have a question for you. Are the ideas that just shared today meant only for parents? You think so? Sorry? Only for parents? Sorry? Parents and future parents. Nobody else? Relatives. You can tell your relatives. Sorry? Even for the teacher? Future teachers? Corporates? Even for the students?
Parenting is not done not only by the parents. So many of them are doing parenting.
Like example. Teachers. It applies to teachers also. Friends. So, sorry? CEOs, corporate CEOs. So that makes the topic more global. You see, that though I said my whole topic has been about parenting, is about, yeah, please. More for grandparents? Are you a grandparent? Not yet.
Grandparent, but the grandparents' influences are more.
Yeah. So from what I gather, I think almost everybody it suits. So I think you can tell your mom and dad. I think they also need to learn. Everybody learns, and this is the world where I don't think we can stop learning. Other day I met a parent brought her son to me and said, Ravi, my son is not interested in studying. I asked him, hey, what are you not interested in studying? He said, I don't like studying physics. He said, I don't want to learn physics. He said, I don't want to learn physics. I thought that is okay. That is okay. I didn't get offended because of physics teacher. I'm not a flag bearer of physics or something. I'm a physicist, that's all. For me, physics is a way to think. As somebody pointed out, it's transferable. Thinking skills are transferable. Then I asked him, okay, you don't like physics, you don't want to learn physics, fine with me. But tell me whether you can say you don't want to learn. I asked him one question. I don't care a damn if you don't learn physics. It's okay with me. Don't learn maths, fine with me. But tell me, can you say I don't want to learn? He said, no sir, I need to learn. So I think learning is more global. It's not about physics and mathematics. You've got to learn. Everybody needs to learn. So you could talk to your spouse. You could talk to your parents, your elders, friends, relatives, anybody. I think it will suit for anybody about whom you care. I think we all care for somebody around us. So this is for, you can have it for anybody about whom you care. Yeah? You got
apply for enemies too.
Want for enemies? I don't know, maybe.
You can learn from your enemies a lot.
You can learn from your enemies a lot. Okay.
Keep your friends close, enemies closer.
Enemies closer. Yeah. So one last story before I wind up. I want to share with you, and again a story. This is the best I've ever heard from a parent. Again, these parents met me. This girl was in 7th grade, the same biology class I mentioned. And they came and asked me, Ms. Ravi would like to know about our daughter. Then they asked me, how is my daughter in class? Does she participate? Somebody asked me that question. Does my daughter participate in class? I said, yeah. She's very active in class. She contributes a lot. She's one of the most active participants in the class. And you know what they said? They said, Ms. Ravi, that's exactly our concern. We do not want our daughter to take away others' chance to ask questions in class. Now, I think this is the best response I've ever heard from anybody. No, you can be concerned about your daughter, your son, wonderful, but showing concern for somebody else's daughter or son, I think that's the best. Imagine that, I mean, it's incredible, amazing, I just can't believe, it's lovely. How many of us can really think of it? I cannot think of it. They said, Ms. Ravi, we don't want our daughter to take away others' opportunities to interact in class. We understand our doctor is very active. Great, we are happy about it. But see to that, she also gives others opportunities. I think that's wonderful. How many of us would think of that? I don't think I would do that. I think they are the parents. I would say they are the parents. To conclude, I believe parents are the first teachers. I believe the best teachers too. You're the first teachers, the best teachers. Continue learning and enjoy parenting, and finally you can reach me on this. Thank you for your wonderful interaction.
First, big thanks to the audience.
Yeah, I think most of the time was held by them, so I didn't delay. I didn't delay. You see the time I spoke, it will be less than 45 minutes. They exceeded time. I blame them. Thank you.
Very interactive question and
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.